Mambition moments. It should go, Tiffany. And of course, I've been at the gym today. Been to sauna, so I feel refreshed. I feel incredible. And funny story, actually. I was thinking about how you will meet your people when you're at your most authentic self. So I was at the gym. I just finished my workout. I was about to get into the sauna, and I was just like listening to music and I was dancing because I was so proud of myself. Like, go, 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 Tiffany. And this girl walks in, she starts laughing. She's like, "Are you okay? Like, you're clearly a nutter like me." So we start laughing about the whole idea of like just having fun and being silly. And we start chatting. She's really lovely. She's from Portugal. We start talking about moving to the Northeast. You also used to live in London. And we just really connected and had such a fab conversation. And then I said, okay, you have a good day, you have a good day. And I thought to myself, how funny is that? Someone could have walked into the gym and thought, yep, nutter. And I am a bit of a nutter. But like I said, I think, I was glad she walked in and she recognized my nuttiness and she was a nutter too. There you go. That's my person. Anyway, so International Women's Day just gone past. Happy International Women's Day. I had a picture come up on my phone yesterday, which showed me what we did last year. And Alex and I had attended an event for International Women's Day. And of course, we went out for celebratory Prosecco after Prosecco, my best friend. And it just got me thinking about International Women's Day. And for me, it's an interesting month, March, simply because it's the month that it's my mom's birthday month. And it's also the month my mum passed away. So it always comes with this collision of, celebration, of course, for women and the advancements and the progress we've made, but also grief and sadness and her and me and my journey as a mom and my children. So yeah, March kind of holds a lot of emotions for me. And I just know as well, March is a month that I cry the most. I'm not ashamed to say that. Just so many complicated feelings. And that's the thing about loss and grief. I feel like it's always takes shape. I remember when I was a lot younger, maybe 15, 16, whenever someone mentioned parents and I said, oh, my mom had passed away, I was always so flippant about it. Like I was very matter of fact, my mom's passed away and I was okay. It was never anything to reflect on. I felt like I'd gotten over it somehow. And I know that sounds crazy, but becoming a mum gave me a different version of that grief. I think about the fact that she died leaving young children behind. I always thought I was the one that experienced sadness. And now I think about her sadness, knowing she was dying and leaving young children behind. And that is so clear to me now. How sad she must have felt. The life she was about to leave behind. And now that I'm a mum, I think about my children, think about me, I think about motherhood as a lens for understanding what she lost and gave up. But then I also think about how that grief will never leave me now. It's so weird. I feel it more intensely now, like than ever in my entire life. And it's not a bad thing. I think grief has always been a core part of almost like my identity, and not in a depressing way. I mean, but I'm so glad that I'm comfortable enough to talk about things like that because I think it's allowed me to develop a unique way of looking at the world, and it's always paid off for me, even though it definitely has its downsides. I definitely think being aware of grief has its downside in a way, and it's like this double-edged sword. So because I lost my mum, it forever makes me aware that time is finite. It makes me aware that life is short. And that awareness is a gift. It's a gift in the sense of I'm very appreciative of time. I'm very intentional. I'm very clear on what matters. I live now rather than waiting for someday. I want to make the time count. I'm very disciplined. I'm consistent. I just show up like that in life in general. But there's a weight, which is like this pressure to make life productive, this pressure to do well, this pressure to make my life count, this pressure to make her proud of me. this pressure to use my time well because her time was cut short. Um, so as I get older now that I'm 36, for me it's about the awareness of those two things and making sure that I'm balancing it well as much as I can. So sometimes forcing myself to sit down and watch telly, watch a rubbish show on Netflix. And when I say rubbish show, I mean the best shows. You know what I'm saying? Like Love is Blind. Yeah, Love is Blind. And I also saw by the way, younger Netflix series. That was amazing. I've recently finished Blue Therapy. So, and it's so weird. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I'm one of those people that sometimes when I feel like, am I wasting my time by watching TV? But I'm forcing myself to actually waste a bit of time because look, like, what am I racing towards? I'm going to work hard. I'm going to give it my best, but I'm also going to learn to have some fun and enjoy myself. And, watching the shows, sitting on the sofa, um, sometimes even like this podcast, it's a way for me to kind of do things that I really enjoy. And I'm so glad that I'm injecting some of that into my life now. And I just feel like I'm having such an amazing time. But yeah, during the week, I definitely, go hard at work and, go hard at the gym. But yeah, I'm learning to balance that. And that's really good for me. I think it costs me sometimes with the pressure, especially when I'm not well and I still feel like I have to keep going. But yeah, I think no one's perfect. So I like the uniqueness of the way that I see the world and the way I think. And I see it as an overall win. I really do. And that leads me to talk about the woman that I am today. If What would have happened if I didn't lose my mom? If I had a mom who had a different type of childhood and my childhood was perfect, I was, like, I had all the love and attention, like the sort of childhood my children have now. Um, I don't know. I feel like it's that loss shaped me. It shaped me into the woman that I am today. And I love this woman so much. I look at myself and I love the woman I am. I love the woman I'm becoming. I have my flaws. I have my imperfections, but I feel that I'm still amazing despite them. Um, and that's because I've arrived at this place where I'm 36. I look at, the podcast. I look at my career. I look at the type of mother that I am. I look at the kind type of friend that I am. I look at the relationship I have with myself. And I love all those things, The podcast is hard to do alongside a full-time career, but I'm so glad that we found the commitment to do it because I feel that it gives us something. It gives you guys something, a voice, a platform, a space to talk about motherhood, to talk about the journey, to talk about how this raising children raises you, to talk about how, even though it's hard to have a career alongside motherhood, sometimes you need that form of identity and that form of purpose, that corner for yourself, because I think it carries you as a woman, as a mother, throughout life, throughout the other relationships that you have. And starting it was a big risk, was a big exposure of ourselves, putting ourselves out there. But I'm glad we're doing all that because I think all that wouldn't happen if it wasn't for that initial loss of something with my mum. Everything has led me here, and I'm grateful for that. I think about reinventing myself over the years. I feel like I've definitely reinvented over my years. I've made some decisions in life that, has required a lot of risk, like moving up here to Northeast. I went traveling. I remember many years ago before kids, I quit my job at one time. I went traveling. I started a business. I've had an eBay business. I've, like I said, reinvented myself in many ways. Becoming a mum. Even the last few months of having a lot going on, the way that I've showed up, the way I've gone back to the gym, the way that I've now focused on my fitness, where I'm going all out with my fitness and, almost like going on a different journey with weights and my body post children, and the way that all of that shows up in my day to day and the journey that I'm on. I love all that. I think that's the resilience I got again from that early loss. And coming back to loving myself, I talk a lot about being 36, and for me, it's such a blessing to be here. And when I look at myself, how random and quirky that I am, but how much I love that person, how much I love the random things about myself, how much more comfortable I am to allow that to show up, being goofy, knowing that I'm just a clown sometimes. And I'm okay with that, falling over at the gym, dropping the weights, even things like recently, something I do in the gym a lot is asking for help from other people. If I see someone using a machine that I want to use and I've never really used and they look good and they're using it, I'm going to be like, I go up to them like, excuse me, you look good. Like, hook me up. So I spoke to a girl today, she looks amazing. I went up to her, I said, girl, your glutes is saying a lot. And I was like, and she does hip thrust with weights. And I said, look, can you show me how to use it? And before that would have felt so embarrassing to me to go and ask someone for help and expose that I don't know how to use this machine. But where I am now in life, I'm just like, I don't know how to use it. This person can ask. What's the worst they can say? No, go away, get lost. Life goes on. I'll be like, bye, peace. But yeah, I think it's all the place that I've arrived, and what that means and how that's been shaped by my grief and my loss and having fun. I have so much more fun now because I feel like I can be myself. And yeah, I think that's where I've arrived, So it's a lot of different pockets of things: loss, grief, time awareness, time urgency, joy, sadness, confidence, self-love. But I think it's never clear cut. But I think that's where grief takes you. Grief is a catalyst for growth, resilience, and the woman I am today, and the way I show up on this podcast, and willing to be open, willing to kind of go on this journey and do it out loud. And I think that's what it's about. And if I could do things differently, I will still want to arrive here, So that's it. So March, thank you for the lessons, right? Time is finite, life is short, but life is also long. So let's make the most of it and enjoy it. And I know that life is happening now. So I'm certainly very grateful for the life that I live now and the life that I get to build and the children in my life and the people in my life and the family that I have. And yeah, so if you're listening to this and you've navigating grief yourself, you're navigating time awareness, you're navigating the weight of loss, you're not alone. And it comes in waves and it comes in chapters and it comes with different lessons. So sit with it and let it mold you. I think sit with it, let it mold you, lean in. It's not always bad, but it's just how you carry it differently. And if you need counseling, then tap into it. I mean, I recently had counseling, and I'm never afraid now to ask for help or to seem vulnerable, because I think that in itself is a strength, to ask for help and know that I don't have it figured out. And I don't need to. I don't need to be perfect. What? I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be me, quirky, always growing, always having fun, putting myself out there. That's it. Guys, thank you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, support the channel. Come and join us on LinkedIn. Let's have some fun. Let's be friends. And I will see you on the next one.